How was it, Swamiji?
11:26 is what day? Today.
11:26 is today. Today morning.
This one?
This one. Here is the plan. This is of another date, Swamiji. July. This is Sudeep's today's one. Here there are many in between. This is replied by this one. Here. This is a reply to this. This is the reply to this one. This is the reply. This one is today's. It is not replied yet. With that, everything is done. Today, I have not replied, Swamiji. So far, I was sitting with the vision only, So I did not go to the emails at all today from morning. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om 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 Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Somebody has sent an email
Can we discuss on yajna, homa, Ishvara puja, sacrificing of me and mine? So here we have absolutely no idea about yajna and homa. Though we have witnessed, even when one's housewarming takes place, morning they will perform Ganapati Homa. We used to witness that. Because Lord Vinayaka is supposed to be in the mind of a bhakta, he is the reliever from all, or what do you say, the obstacles. He is removing. Lord Vinayaka will remove all obstacles in our path. So any venture when we take up, the tradition is that we will ask the priest to come and then he will perform. Suppose you are starting a business, you are entering a new home, anything like that. Those who have got faith in that, they perform this. There are so many types of homas also, Chandi Homa, Sudarshana Homa, so many things are there. What is the philosophy behind it? We have no idea, but because in ashram, we don't follow any types of rituals. Though all of them have got their own significance, it all depends upon how we look at it. If it gives us joy, we must do it. Because that is why it has been brought out. Various types of yajnas, but normally we hear about jnana yajna. Of all yajnas, Bhagavan used to say in Bhagavad Gita, I am the jnana yajna. So those two aspects, we will try to get some details from somebody and then share it later. Ishvara puja is something, it will definitely help us to make us more nearer. When we start growing, we would have seen our elders worshipping before a photo or an image every day, and they may light the lamp, show agarbatti, something, each one according to their, something would be there. And somebody does puja also. So the idea is, though he is all pervading and he is indwelling, it is difficult to initially understand this. So we try to concentrate on him through an image. And then by doing this puja, there could be so many pujas, but what we know of one puja is, we do the avahanam and feel that he is there in flesh and blood. And so he is coming to our home. So what all we will do to a revered person, that we do it with that bhavana. So we welcome him, we wash his feet, we offer him a seat, we offer him a drink, then his bath is arranged, the new clothes are arranged, then we give him an asana again, then we glorify him, we offer him food, and then we pray to him to bless everybody, and then when he gets up, he goes back to the place from which he has come. This is the Ishvara puja. That means as soon as you perform, you feel the nearness. And there is an inexplicable joy in serving him, though he is nameless and formless. Until and unless we reach the stage where he is behind everything, whatever we are doing it as a puja, whatever words we utter is a glorification, until such time. Whatever we see is his own form. Until we reach that stage, it would be preferable to have this in our own way. There may be there are certain, say, Shodashojadi pujas, Panchayatana puja. There are so many types of pujas, out of which we select one, and then the purpose is to feel his nearness. Because when we start our devotional practice right from our childhood, or the spiritual practice later, the starting point is worship of a form. And that is how the form took us, the worship of the form took us to the stage where we find comfortable with the form and the formless. It is not that the form goes away, no. From the form to the formless. So Ishvara Puja it gives us an inexplicable joy. And there are two types of puja which we have heard. One is Dravya Puja, the other is Manasa Puja. First we start with Dravya Puja, and later on when we enter into our field of life, probably there may be situations where we may not be able to organize all these Dravya. So at that time, early morning when we get up on a particular day, particular day, in a week, once in a week or once in 15 days, something like that, no? And then we pray to him intensely, and then we bring the same form through which we were inspired, we were touched, kindled, we were awakened. That form we feel is coming, and then we do all these upacharas. And we mentally feel that we are doing everything with the Dravya. It gives us immeasurable joy. Because the closeness is felt. And you are actually involved in worshipping him. When you go to temple, the pujari does. You cannot do it. But here, you yourself are doing it. And there may be so many systems, but we find from our own experience, we can evolve our own system. And then bring him before us and do all upacharas. And then after our offering food, after giving him water to wash, everything meticulous, no? The moment he comes to our place, we say, welcome, swagatam. First we say, suppose we, Lord Vigneshwara, for example. So Vigneshwaram dhyayami avahayami swagatam. I am contemplating upon Lord Vigneshwara. I meditate upon him, and now he is coming. It is a superimposition, agreed. Avahayami. Then when he is coming, swagatam, idam padyam. That means you wash his feet. Idam asanam. And we collect water from different holy tirthas. That is also through a mantra we will prepare. Gangaye namaha, Yamunaye namaha, Godavari namaha, Sindhave namaha, Kaveri namaha, Narmadaye namaha, Krishnaye namaha, Saptagodi mahatirtham avahayami. That also mentally we bring all these waters from the holy rivers. That is the holy water we offer for his bath. And then we give him fresh clothes. Vastra pushpa uttariya ajno vivida abharana dharanam peedam padyam samasta upacharam. Fan, everything we provide in our own language, And then when he is seated, in between we also give him something to drink, Whatever you do, that language is free now. We don't have to go through a particular one. We will feel comfortable with what all we should give. If we have forgotten something in between, we will come and give. He is within us, He is not an outside party. But for the sake of the joy of worshipping him, we are trying to bring him out with a form. So this Ishvara Puja, it can be done in it. There are so many paddhadis, vidhis, there is a krama is there. All those, initially it is better to go through, but later on we pass through the stages and we develop our own way of worshipping him. Because whether we do with this or that, whether we use the capital letter or the small letter, he can understand our language. Because he is behind everything, He is seated within. In fact, he himself is prompting us to do so that the sense of individuality get the joy of worshipping. He allows himself to be worshipped. For the sheer joy of doing it. So that stage we will start feeling when we do this Manasa Puja with all dravyam in the mind. So, if you want to learn more, there are set norms, models. It's all available nowadays. It must be Google Baba also must be giving. We can check up that. So puja, I would say that whatever we are comfortable with, no formalities. Initially we have to do the protocol and all those learning and paddhati. But a stage will come when we are absolutely free with him. Because we know that he is within. And he is doing it for the sake of our own joy. He is prompting us to do it for our own sake of joy. So then he will understand our language. So he will not stand on any protocols. Because Papa used to say, a day will come when you are absolutely free from all these things. Sacrificing of me and mine. It is the toughest, very difficult for us at the moment. But at the same time, we need not lose hope. It is something like we go to the bazaar and buy a vegetable cutting knife. We can use it for cutting the vegetables. But if we are in a different frame of mind, and if the lower passions are there, it is also used to harm others. Similarly, the me and mine has been given to us to know him, to worship him, to do seva for him. But at the same time, if we don't make use of for that purpose, he can prove to be the great obstacle for us to know him. He will not permit us to go beyond his boundary, his set boundary. So the only way our masters have said that we keep on thinking about the bounteous gifts God has given to us right from our seed level to this day. Even then, me and mine will not immediately go. It has been glued to us, Many a time it is felt it is difficult to do away with him. And when we rush to the words of the wisdom of masters, Papa says, he can be tamed and yet he can be made purer and purer. That means free him from the vested interest, self-interest to a great extent. By remembering God. So through remembrance, it is possible to free the me and mine from impurity to a great extent. then he remains only just for the sake of individuality. Individuality will remain as long as we are embodied self. There may be highly evolved souls who would continue to live as an individual and at the same time be free from the sense of me and mine. There would be. We don't know that. We are not ruling out. But as far as we know, whatever spiritual discipline we are trying to do, we know that completely eradicating him is out of question. So how to make him to think about God? That can be tried. How to make him to know that he exists only because of God? How to make him know that even the urge to, even the very sense of awareness of even me and mine is a gift given to us by God. When we open our eyes, when we see anything, wherever it is possible, throughout it may not be possible, wherever it is possible, we try to identify the source. Papa in one of his quotations has said, go to the origin of you and the world. That would definitely make us know that this me and mine was not there when I was in the seed form, when I was in the womb of my mother, when I was born. All these things, we intellectually we can understand. And then that intellectual connection, when often repeated, it will slowly tame this fellow and try to go through the biographies of those who have been able to expand from me to we. Or to hear. Yesterday, for example, we saw a small video. Yesterday or day before? Yesterday. In that video, what is striking is some boy, he must be of say 8 to 10 or 11 to 12 years old. Somehow he did something which is outstanding. So somebody was able to see that and they wanted to give him a small cycle. They thought he would be happy. So they came to that school, met him and told him, we want to give you a cycle. Then the boy with all his innocent face said, I don't need a cycle. Do you have a cycle? No, I don't have a cycle. No, this is our, our form of affection, you must accept it. Then the boy of that age says, if you are so particular, you can give that cycle to one of my friends who needs it. They were thoroughly, shaken. It was something, a new awakening for them, because a boy of that age, normally they will have these priorities for cycle and playthings. But here when somebody comes and offers, he says, I don't need it, but if you are very particular, it can be given to a friend of mine. They asked after a certain time, and then they took their Innova, and in the back of the Innova, the cycle is kept. Even during the trip, he was asked so many times to check up whether he has got any craving for this. The boy was cool. It's a video. We can see the face of the boy, innocent boy. He was unperturbed, unaffected. He said, okay. Hardly he answers. And then finally they asked, where is your friend? So the boy identified the house. They stopped the vehicle. They took out the cycle. And these people said, you ride the cycle and hand it over to him. That boy said, no. He will ride it. Just imagine. And finally, the boy came out, parents also came out. And these people, because they were excited, they explained everything to the father of the other child. And then finally, the cycle was handed over. And as they were taking back, the same people, they brought another cycle and then gave it to him. I said, now you should accept. And he made an elaborate gesture that they are teaching us how we should love all and serve all, without any feeling that we are loving all and serving all. Because he did not give any lecture, he did not give any explanation. It was spontaneous, that's all. So it is me to we, So such type of incidents, when we keep on thinking, when we keep on observing, when we keep on contemplating upon it, there will be some impact on our thoughts, words and deeds. When our mind space is filled with as many of such positive incidents, from our experience we have found that from 2000 onwards, when we started interacting with students, and when Papa prompted us to have a setup like we said, the first thing what we do is to share one incident, not a story, an incident which had touched and kindled us. If it has kindled us, it will kindle others. So we try to gather as many. We have got a big story bank, anecdotes bank. We call out from Gandhiji's life, from anybody. And then when we look at our spiritual preceptors, we find many. That, of course, if, for example, In Quest of God is full of such incidents. Puja Mataji's life, In Quest of God, full of such incidents where we find this me to we. Never it is me to me. So along with whatever spiritual discipline we are doing it, this will also help us. Remembering such of the incidents where we find A tries to expand from me to we. These are all some of the methods we can try. And as we keep on trying, whatever is necessary for our journey, God will definitely provide us. In our 20 years journey with students, we used to see that. We have no idea, but somebody will immediately send one anecdote that will touch. And when it is shared there, we can see the result. Anyway, after everything is over, now in ashram we also have camps. 20, 30 or 30, 40 children, they will come and spend with us for half a day. There some interactive session will be there. Even before this and during this, we have found somebody telling us about their participation in the program of this 20 years back. It means that impact is there. So we are talking about how to move from me to we, how to tame this me and mine. These are all some of the tools with which we can to a very great extent keep him under thumb. Very difficult to get rid of him. Even after all these, he may come out. Because over these years, he has been with us. And on many days or most of our dealings, it was he who was dominating. So to move him, to take him away, it is a tough job, very tough job. So we will compromise with this, let him be there, but in a purified form. So these are all some of the methods which we find. This is not any, there is no Shastra we are telling. It is an experiential learning. We keep on remembering about such of the incidents where we find one raising himself from the me level, me and mind level to a higher level, and how he has dealt with many situations. That is also there. In our office, even in our school days or in our office, there would have been empty number of instances where the colleague or the boss would have risen to a higher level when we had reacted. Or we may be observing somebody is reacting to somebody's in a different way, not from the me and mind level alone. How it happens, we cannot say that. In the vision of God, Papa explains about one Karta. What Karta? Karta Krishna. He was an irritating person. He somehow, he was inspired by Papa and he took Papa to his home. He was in a very bad shape. But at the same time, he was complaining, I don't have any harmony at workplace. And after hearing Papa's satsang, there was a radical change in him. And the same set of friends, same set of people with whom he was unable to get along, they became his close friends. And when they met Papa, they asked, how is it possible that he could become like this, he could transform himself like this? Such incidents, such incidents assure us that with a little fine-tuning in our behavior, we will be able to tame this fellow. And what are these fellows' attributes are what? Me and mine, my rights and wrongs, my likes and dislikes, my preferences, my priorities, all my mind. My preconceived notion, my attachment to my name, my power, status, my security. All these put together, these are the attributes. Just like God is omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. What are the attributes of this me and mind? These are all the attributes. So we catch hold of one or two and then watch for ours. So whenever the me and mine is attachment to the possession also is there. So they are all, we try to tutor him, educate him that we did not bring anything. In between, God facilitated us to have this. So like that, through satsang, through the words of wisdom we get, through the anecdotes or the observation of such striking anecdotes, touching anecdotes, slowly the taming of the individual takes place. And to cap it all, we find in Quest of God, when we took it up for an in-depth study last year, that is why one day Papa prompted us to bring the word, it is a manual. Because not a particular type of situation, not a particular type of person, not a particular type of possession. Everything is covered there. Papa can handle English more than a PhD or anybody in this. And somebody mockingly commented, and he did not get irritated. Papa was only having a small lota or something book. When somebody, immediately he places, this is yours. So whatever we have listed now about the attributes, one by one if we go through that, we will find. First of all, Papa had limited possessions. But all other things, there was no prayer. Though he was, the priority was there, there was no priority. There was a priority there, but there was no priority for him. In our language, when we go through that, we find, Papa was in quest of God. That was the priority. That was the preference. But later on, when we go through that, no, he got already stabilized in it, and he wanted to have it proved by going out. So like that, in quest of God throughout, through various anecdotes, he is teaching us that it is practically possible for any human being. And before that, he had brought home to us through various anecdotes. And probably that is why we were able to enjoy more in the In Quest of God. Previously also we have read. But then it was not so. It was taken as Papa's narrative. Never it struck to us that it is a manual for our life, daily life. And God facilitates. That is why we said, when we are earnest in this, apart from what all we have now shared, God in His own way will make us to move towards that more effectively. How and through what, we don't know. But He will give us. Today morning we were sharing, when a group of students were brought here, suddenly we were informed by the principal that they would be coming. There are more than 100 people, so behind our sadhana kudir there was an open space, so it was cleaned. Immediately request was sent to canteen to prepare upma and tea, and everything was brought, kept ready. When the children came, each one was given upma, tea, everything, and they themselves served it. They themselves cleaned. There was a tap there, and then they all sat. So the first question, how to begin this session, we have no idea. So it struck to us to ask this question. Now, after you are taking the upma, you cleaned the plate. Where did you allow the water to go? So immediately they said there was a coconut tree. So under the coconut tree, the washing took place. So we casually asked them, because you have washed and given the water with which the plate was cleaned, will the coconut tomorrow give you only dirty water in its tender coconut or in coconut? After a pause moment, children got up and said, no. Why do you think? Why do you say no? Then they said, whatever we do, it has no connection with whatever it gives. Because it has got a standard to give. And somebody improved it and said, unconditional service. Just casually we asked, And you will be surprised to know that it took about more than half an hour. The children were finding out so many examples. So how does he facilitate? We have no idea. Even today when we look at the coconut tree behind our room, this thought comes to us. There is a jackfruit tree. And immediately they saw a jackfruit. Jackfruit, many of you might have seen. It will be close to the stem. It won't be lying this like another thing. So one boy says, why it is so, the weight of jackfruit will be definitely more than any other thing. So if it falls, it should not harm anybody who is under it. It is his own mind, agreed. But the way in which the mind now works. That means the me and mine, quality, care and concern for others is weighing there more. That is why all these thoughts come. That is what is needed to tame this me and mine. Quality, care and concern, not mere care and concern. Quality, care and concern for others. So this could be another method. Because we are not sitting alone with the labeled spiritual practices. We are very much with the world, very much with the family, very much with our profession. So it should be applicable. Otherwise it becomes a compartmentalized activity or a theory only, which has nothing to do with the practical life. It will not help us. Because the me and mine, when it is tamed, the tangible gain is harmony at home, harmony at workplace, harmony with friends. That means we will not assert and hold on to our rights and wrongs. We will not assert and hold on to our preferences and our priorities. It's a tough job. Because the mind will keep on telling, I am right, you are wrong. So how to do that? By intense prayer and by taking to these methods, probably it might be possible for us to rein him, to bring him under our control to a very great extent. Because the first tangible gain of associating with these thoughts is that we feel guilty, whenever we do anything unknowingly. We should not have done that, we should not have uttered that. So that is the first tangible gain. And then we try to improve it. Many incidents come before us where he taught us, So when those incidents occupy our mind space, it will have its own impact. And over all these above, we should also try to pray during our Ramnam time. In spite of my chanting Ramnam, in spite of my doing so many activities, still I find the fellow is very powerful. Initially he looks, that he is subservient, but suddenly he flares out and then he takes me for a ride. And then I become miserable. So kindly help me. You have given this sense of individuality, so you alone can plug this forever. For my own progress, you would have tested me with this, but at times, I fail in the test and I find miserable. What I want to achieve is oneness with all, whereas he always keeps me away from all by holding on to all these things, attributes. As a spiritual aspirant, you have taught me I should be always thinking about how to become one with you. Then later on you made me to understand that how become one with you means by become one with all. So to become one with you means to become one with all. When we think on those lines, we used to think about one incident. Normally we all have come across. Suppose there is a small pebble, or it is there, we put it in the water. Pebble will never become one with the water. But there is a coexistence, The water and the pebble lives. So even if I cannot become one with them, at least I will be able to coexist. Without making my miserable somehow to take the pebble out, no. When we go near any river, we will find sand or something like that, where from it has come, then we find that there are so many rocks will be there. And because of this persistent, persevering water, rubbing it over so many centuries, probably, we don't know, the process of making it as powder, that is how we get it. So that also makes us to remember that consistent and persistent effort will also enable us to win over this me and mine. Coexistence, and then the impact will be there slowly. The rock it may remain there, but in a reduced form. When you go to beach during the off season, you will find so small rocks. But during the rainy season, there will be a time when you go there, you will not see any rock. It would have come and the sand would cover the whole rock. Again, during the off season, when the water withdraws, retreats, the same will be there. It was a good lesson. Whenever we go to a beach, we used to watch this. So though it cannot become one with him, it can coexist, At least you make me to do that. So that harmony is maintained. I don't feel not comfortable with anything. I feel comfortable. So these are some of the ways by which probably we can find some answers for reducing the dominance of me and mine. Anything strikes to anybody other than this? From all these, it becomes very, very clear to all of us that as we keep on progressing in the spiritual journey, we become more and more humane. We become more and more adjustable, flexible. It is not that I have done 1000 malas. It is not that I have done this much puja, or I have visited such holy places. I have seen so many Mahatmas. I have mastered this, I have mastered that. Everything might be helpful out. But the testing, the touchstone is whether we are becoming more and more humane. That is the real test. Otherwise it becomes spiritual, means when we go to a particular place, whatever we do, and then we come back, there is no change in us, means finished. So the Papa's approach is like that. Every time you try to bring it down. He said, the inner riches must be the basis of your, Chimyanji said, inner riches must be the basis of your outer poverty. So Papa used to say, the service should be done never in a slipshod, clumsy, irregular, half-hearted way. The inner beauty must reveal itself in your outer conduct. Inner beauty must reveal itself in your outer conduct. So this is the touchstone. Even when we do it in ashram, we may be doing a lot of seva. But am I becoming more and more humane? That means, am I considerate to others? That is why Papa in the first inaugural speech he said, the mutual love and service we should try here, so that when we go outside we will be able to do it. So inmates as well as visiting devotees have to plumb deep on this aspect. Ultimately, we have come here to get rid of this me and mine. Though it may not be possible to get rid of this me and mine fully, at least we can make him as much pure as possible. That means free from vested interest, free from some of the attributes which we have. It will be difficult, agreed. But we should not lose heart. We should not think over the failures. We must march ahead through as many ways as possible. And we don't have to break our head for the ways. Only thing, when we express when we pray intensely toward this, mysteriously He will give us the clues. He will make us to observe. That is very, very important. So me and mine. If we have been observing, without somebody first said how to become one with Him. Somebody said about surrender. Somebody brought about love,
remembrance also.
remembrance. Remembrance, correct. There is a chronological order. Why He is suggesting through so many. And today, as soon as we opened the email, we saw this. Me and mine. Of course, on Homa and Yajna, we don't have much idea at all. We have not been. A puja, we were doing it, so some idea we have. The other one we used to observe. And there is a joy in observing it. And certain temples, when we go there, when the pujari does it, it is so inspiring. We remember once, many, many decades ago, when we went to Delhi, there is a Malay Mandir, a temple dedicated to Lord Subramanya. It is on a hilltop. So we were busy, but somebody said, don't miss it. So when we went there, the pujari was performing puja and uttering shlokas. Very, very inspiring. We can't say how we enjoyed it. But there was a communion between the deity and us, So such things happen. Last year we went to Narmada, Amarkantak. The Udbhavasthan of Narmada. So we reached there from Manendragarh by about evening. Then we thought we would go there and have the darshan of Narmada. There is a temple dedicated to Narmada, goddess Narmada. At that time the Arati was about to start. So quite a big crowd was there. It was, of course, the weather was chill. Suddenly the pujari looked at us and asked us to come forward. And we have some problem with our leg. He made us to stand in the water 2 or 3 steps. And at the time of performing the Arati plate will be this much, 5 or 6 tires are there. And we have to do this. It's quite a heavy one. Anyhow, the pujari gave, we have to accept. But the whole strain was not felt because the way in which he was uttering and we became one with the sound, one with the bhava. that we were not seeing the river there, and how many thousands and thousands or lakhs of people were inspired by this holy river. And not only inspired, how many innumerable people were prompted to make the parikrama, which stresses to 3 months, 6 months or a year, with nothing to fall back upon. So many things that river is still doing it. With all the scientific advancement, people still have that faith, simple faith, and they do it and then they enjoy. All those thoughts were coming by me. And with all that, this strain, this physical strain was not there much. Then finally, we gave to somebody. We were, if I remember right, we were standing there for more than half an hour. So these are all some of the things. How it happens, we don't know. God gives us opportunity to taste that also, to identify with this. And suddenly Narmada brings, today morning we saw a video, afternoon. Some of our friends and our family members, they have gone to Kashi, Varanasi. And there yesterday evening they performed the Ganga Arati. Thrilling. And the way in which the shlokas were uttered, innumerable people. And how the pujari performs each and every ritual. You are taken to a different, then you don't find this as a river. Ganga Mai, when they say. So suddenly we remembered our going to Rishikesh, Haridwar, Uttarkashi, sitting there on the banks. All those things, touched and kindled. How she was able to redeem so many. So it gets arranged, that's what we are not planning, we are not initiating anything. We are not asking anybody to do anything, but it is given to us. So such things will definitely, so that is an assurance given to us by Him. When you are on the path, I will give you what all you want to get more and more boosted, more and more awakened. Mysteriously. This will all have its own impact in taming this me and mine. That soothing. Nowadays only we remember why Papa was insisting for this sloga. In his letter to Puja Swamiji when he was in Rishikesh, in that letter Papa lists what should be one spiritual aspirant's sadhana. When Swamiji, as Anandashram, when he went to Rishikesh, and when he adopted sannyas, and when he wrote to Papa, Papa replies him back, in that he lists out beautifully. There he makes a mention. Learn a few slogas, that will help you. Suddenly we started remembering, yes, many slogas are there, which are perennial source of inspiration for us. That is why God made us to go through that. Whether it is Guru Sthiti, Akanda Mandalakaram, or Brahmanandam, or Pratasmarami, or the Shanti Mantras of Upanishads, Sahana Bodhu, Shanno Mitra Shambaruna, like that, Purnamata, Purnamidam, all of them are still inspiring, We did not know when we were asked to read this. But every time when we read, an inexplicable joy wells up in our heart. It is not the me and mine who is the sole giver of this, security, joy, this and that. Slowly we try to read. And all these slogas help us to widen our love circle. From the limited to the unlimited, from the finite to the infinite. All those things, all these slogas. Initially we try to go through it and enjoy it. But later on, a little more plumbing deep within the theme contained in it, that helps us to move from me to we. So the meter and the way in which you chant, it also helps. But later on, we find the meaning, the theme contained, also helps us. That is why in many of our houses, you might be knowing that. Whether we know the meaning of any homas or pujas or anything, we used to ask the Purohit to come and perform it. Because just to hear that itself, it's a great joy. We have some idea, broad idea about what they are performing. We may not have complete ideas. We may not know the meaning. It is all in Sanskrit. But there is an inexplicable joy welling up. Then we will try to go through it again and again and again and try to understand. So that while chanting, we will enjoy that also. Just like our Ramnam, no? Initially we chant without any idea. We find the tune is interesting. We find some inexplicable joy. And later on we slowly enter into it. When Papa says you are chanting the name of one who is within you, who is making you to chant, we forget, again we remember, we forget, again we remember, we forget, again we remember. Like that, like the drop down on a rock slowly makes its impact. We will also slowly start enjoying Ramnam, unlike we were doing it previously. It was at that moment we were happy, but even after the Ramnam, we will continue to feel the warmth of it in anything. So we remember all these things. These are all the supplementary or complementary matters. If we can try to fill up along with our sadhana, all these things, probably it might be possible for us to bring down this supremacy or what you call dominance of me and mine. Prayer also should be there. Ultimately it is His grace only we are doing it, but we should also become aware that it is by His grace we are in a position to do all these things. Anything more?
God experience volume 3.
What is the topic?
இல்லை இப்போ நீங்கள் சொன்னதெல்லாம் God experience
Volume 3. Whatever you have said, it's volume 3.
So sorry.
We have only heard about volume number 1 and 2. Suddenly we are thinking, where from he got these 3? Okay, so let us keep our mind fully with all these thoughts.
Everything is impromptu.
Eh?
Everything is impromptu. Just come from
Hari Om, Hari Om. His grace and His grace only.
Yes.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram जय जय राम ओम श्री राम साष्टांग प्रणाम जय राम जय जय राम ओम हरि ओम प्रणाम 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 टू ऑल नमस्कारम
Thank you so much, sir. Just to do this. Just to